Recording in progress. Okay, welcome. Good morning, Pilates. I've always said that if Joseph Pilates were alive today, he would have evolved. That we understand so much more about the human body, the aging processes of the human body, and as science and technology have moved forward, we really do need to move with it. So I know I like to bring in the original 34 from classical Pilates, but I do like to be a bit cheeky and think about other things. And it's partly through lived experience, yeah, because I've been teaching Pilates a very, very long time. So we recently introduced, or brought back rather, reintroduced a process of just waking up the skin. So we'll start this together where let's start with a little rub, and we do this when we're cold, right? So, and the reason we do this, and I've forgotten about it, so it's nice to bring it back. So we go wrist up to elbow, elbow up to shoulder, around the whole of the upper arm, because whilst you're doing that, the other arm is starting to move and mobilize, right? Okay, around the shoulder, and then we're going to come back down again. A little bit of a tap. So we're going to pat around the forearm, front and back of hands, elbow up to shoulder, elbow up to shoulder, around the chest, the armpit, back of the shoulder blade, tap, 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 tap. Good old rub, good old rub, good old rub. Lovely. Okay. And then what I'd like you to do is slightly different. We're just going to stay with the shoulder, and we're just going to do some circles, forward and back, internal, external rotation, lots of different things here. Just really get it lubricated. Okay. Shake off your hands and wrist. Settle it down. Now that should feel different to arm 2, right? So we'll start again, same thing. So we'll do the skin brush first. And I was first introduced to the skin brush before I even was in really getting into my fitness career. And this is dealing with dyspraxic children. And the skin brushing was advised at the time by some neurophysios because it helps you really build your proprioception, your spatial awareness of where you are in space. And this stimulus, and so by rubbing and pressing and tapping, this helps your extremities to connect with your brain and just remind your brain where you are. So that's when I first learned it. So that was, oh my God, that's like a long time ago, 30 years ago. Okay, so little pat up to the elbow, back to the wrist. So proprioception is a big part of what we do in all our work. It is about spatial awareness because that likes to go offline a little bit as we age. It's a bit rubbish, isn't it? But it helps us with trip slips, walking with good gait without injuries. Okay, and oh, what we didn't do, okay, and then go all the way up to the shoulder and back down. That tapping around the chest, armpit, we'll rub into the lats. Okay, so in a clockwise, so up to the right, around the top, down the left. So a little rub. Okay, so we never did this last week. This is again a massage pattern, so you're going in the same flow of your ascending, descending bowel. So this bit's important. And again, this is increasing stimuli. Then I want you to rub up and down the side of the waist, around to the back, hands on bum, palms on your bum. Because of course, while you're trying to rub your bum cheeks, you're opening up your shoulders, right? Then the back of the hands into gentle fists, knuckling your bum cheeks, up and down, side to side, into the small of the back, middle of the back. Lovely, lovely. Okay, and this bit's really quite important because in a second when we get down onto the floor, the back is already nice and warm. Okay, so from here, outside of the thighs. We're rubbing up and down, knee to groin, inner thigh, inside knee, up into the inner thighs. I like to put a bit more pressure on my fingers so I can feel like I'm really getting in there a little bit. And then, of course, outer thighs. I don't know about you, but sometimes I get cold bum cheeks. Do you ever get that? I get that all the time. Okay, so left bum cheek, circle rub, and down the back of the thigh. Right bum cheek, circle rub, and down the back of the thigh. Okay, you've done this a million times with me. Grip your knees. We circle in one direction, then the other. Alternate or do 2 or 3 in one direction and switch. Okay, and then from there, we're just bending and straightening. Lovely. Bending over, rubbing your shins. Really press the pads of your fingertips into this, into calves. Lovely, lovely. Okay, so we're coming onto the floor. Sitting down on our knees. So remember what I said about switching cameras? Thanks, Pat. Do you remember what I said about proprioception? So rather than just feeling your hands on the floor, you feel like the floor's working for you. So allow the floor to push yourself away. So we're dropping the chest by keeping the elbows straight, pushing the trunk away from the floor. So a lowering and a lifting, a lowering and a lifting. Feels nice, right? Okay, now let's circle. So we're drawing a circle in one direction and then switching. So we're going to round the front of the wrist. So there you go. We're looking at that lovely extension through the wrist joints, stretching out our fingertips. Okay, now let's come into rounding up through the back. Stay there, chin to chest. Push yourself backwards towards your feet a little bit more. Keep the round in the back. Chin to chest, round forward slightly, so your shoulders are just slightly forward of your wrist joints. And back again. Sink the chest, lift the chin, stay there. Push back slightly, feel that stretch and opening around the booty. Keep the chest drop, come forward, chest forward of your wrists. Okay, now repeat. Chin to chest. Push back towards your feet, and now circle from there. That's your starting point. So rounded back, push back, circle. Switch direction. Drop the chest, come forward, and again circle. Feels a bit discombobulated. So I'm hoping that just in that bit you should feel nice and mobile. Okay, so the next bit, I want you to take your right knee just across the body and pop your hip down like me. Can you see this? Can't see. Okay, so from a kneeling position, I just want you to bring that knee through and just drop your hip. Come back, left knee through, bum down, push back. We're going to repeat that 2 or 3 more times each side, because this helps us really sort of get into that where the spine meets your pelvis, but also stretch out the outside of the hip. And whilst we're doing that, there's a little bit of a spine twist going on. So I always feel that this bit is quite fast and, oh, give myself hiccups. I feel this bit is a bit of fast and furious, but it will settle. Okay, one more. Okay, and let's sit. Now, if you feel sitting upright is a challenge, you can use your block and sit on your block, or you can sit on your roller. I don't mind. What normally happens is if you sit up when you're sat on the floor like this, sometimes it becomes too stressful in the back. So if you want to just use one of your yoga props, fine. Okay, feet nice and wide and just settle into that position. Okay, so for a second, just allow your feet to turn outwards. Can we do a mental note, Pat, to check on Annie as well, make sure she's okay. Okay, so long spine, shoulders back and down, arms out wide. So we're going to look at spinal rotation into saw. So spine twist and saw, rise up, rotate and repeat. And we'll just get going and we'll start to refine it. So this is a mega slowing of movement now. Everything is just really come to a standstill. And what I'd like us to do is just notice. Noticing the rotation, how your spine feels. Noticing that flexion and reaching, any interference in the back. Notice the pelvic floor. Is there pressure or bulging? Are we comfortable with that gentle lift of the pelvic floor as we're rotating? Notice how the shoulders are feeling. Do you want to take one shoulder into internal rotation around the back? Does that help with your rotation and forward flexion? So thumb down and then thumb up the back. Notice whether there's tension on the thighs and try to let go of the tension on the thighs, particularly around the knees, as you continue to perform this. Last time. Well done. And then release. Okay. So I'm just changing angles. So now what I'd like us to do, with or without the block, with or without the, actually that's not true, remove the block out of the way. We just get into that classic roll down. So the first thing I want us to think about is to collapse forward and downwards. So rather than chin to chest and roll back, I want the first bit to be nice and tall, and then feel the spine just come down on itself. So your chin is on your chest and your eye gaze are on your belly button. Then we start to roll back and roll back up. Roll back up and grow. Okay, stop. This is how we do this. So send your arms forward. Breathe in to prepare yourself. Breathe out, roll down, so you feel that C shape forming. Before you roll back, breathing in, breathing out, as you come back up and rise. Now, if you want to, you can take those hands nice and high, so we really get to finish the spine. Lovely and tall. Breath in, breath out. So slowly, slowly, slowly. Inhaling, exhaling, hands nice and high. A challenge for you, instead of having your hands on the horizon, keep your hands slightly higher as your starting point. Round, roll, breath, pull up. And you'll notice straight away that's going to be increased intensity, particularly underneath your ribs and below, so higher up in your abs. Another challenge. Take your feet further forward or bring them in really close and see how that feels, because we've just changed your center point of gravity and suddenly it's a real challenge all over again. So it does kind of have a little play with it. I want you to do 4 for you. The last one being the killer one, either feet closer or feet further away. But just go for it and see how far you can actually roll down and roll up. Got it? Are we good? Okay. Sitting up, sitting forward, bringing the feet closer together, but not wide, not neutral, just slightly parted. This is about just adjusting your booty. And then I want you to think about your posture and your body weight, your upper body weight coming forward. Feel that stretch come out through the back. Relax your shoulders. And then from there, I want you to see if you can go a little further. Relax your thigh muscles, relax your knees, and then see if you can bring your chin towards your chest, eye gaze towards the floor. Stretch your hands forward as far as you can and just settle there. So this is about stretching out through the back of the hamstring, stretching out through the back as well. Get it? Rise up. Bring your body further down the bottom of your mat and lie down and take yourselves into a full body stretch. So full body stretch. I'd like you to take left leg over right, left hand and right hand clasp, but they wrap over. Can you see that? So we'll boom, take it overhead and then make like a banana and lean towards the right side. Use your breath. Notice any tightness and tension anywhere. Okay, undo and redo the hands. So this time the right is over the left. Undo your left foot, put your right foot on top of your left foot, arms overhead, lean towards the left. Lovely. Come back into neutral. So unknot yourself. Hands palm down at your side. Gently draw your shoulder blades towards each other. So the chest is open and lifted. Think about, we're trying not to dome, so there should be just a nice connection in the middle of your trunk. Think about the belly is pulled in and connected. The pelvic floor is lifted. So we're thinking now that everything's tight and engaged. So you're holding on if there's wind or there's water. So everything is tight and engaged, but not so tight that your eyes are crossing and your eyebrows are lifting. So, or your bum cheeks are in fact lifting. Just nice and engaged. State of readiness. Okay, so let's go old-fashioned, shall we? So think about 90 degrees at the knee. Lift up and lower down. That's all. Keep it simple. So I want you to close your eyes for this for me. We're alternating right leg, left leg. We're simply bringing the leg up to half tabletop and then popping it down again. That's all. So it's, again, when not too onerous. Think about what I said earlier on about spatial awareness. So if you were to open your eyes and have a quick look, you'll notice that there's 90-degree angle at your knee joint. Your shin is parallel to the ceiling and your thighs are vertical to the ceiling. Now, with your eyes closed, you're noticing the tension in your abdominals, the space in your back, the pressure and the load you're feeling through your spine as you lift one leg and the other. Notice the stillness between right side and left side as you transfer from one foot to the other. And see if we can now increase the tension internally to almost create a weightless transition between right and left. So your feet are barely touching the floor and your core muscles have got all that power. What do we need to do to make this tougher? Up, and this time bring the other leg up to hold, up into tabletop. Make any adjustments, chin, shoulders, brace, abs, and we're going to stay there. We're going to hold for 10, 9, whilst you're counting down, pelvic floor. So really zip up through those deep, deep core muscles. Keep your ankles nice and relaxed. Use your breath. Use that spatial awareness to check in with everything. Right leg goes forward towards the floor. It comes back in, breath in. Exhale, left leg goes forward, points towards your skirting board. And repeat. 1 and 2. Good, 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 good. So we're alternating. It's a full stretch. So it's single leg stretch we're coming into here. We're shooting that leg forward and back, forward and back. Straightening out the knee, floating that leg fully extended in front of you, using those core muscles to hold on. And then release. Whew. Don't know about you, but I felt that. Okay, so knees bent, feet wide. So you've got a nice V as you look down, arms overhead for a moment. Let's just drop both those knees into each other. Give yourself a second. Feet remain wide. We're going to look at engaging the gluteals. So we're going to think about our bum cheeks. And we're going to squeeze both bum cheeks as we roll into a wide stance bridge. So rolling and tilted through the pelvis and driving up, up, up towards the ceiling. Now we're going to do this a handful of times, please. And again, I want you to notice any changes, right side, left side. Can you go a little higher with repetition? Now that your body is remembering the movement, at the top of the movement, could you just push through another inch or two? How does that feel? Just coming up to have a little look. Good, good. Up and hold. Okay, lift knees. Lift heels, stay. Tiny little pulses now. So you're pushing your booty up a little higher every time. Tiny, weeny, little presses. Tiny, weeny, little presses. Tiny, weeny, little presses. Tiny, weeny, little presses. Roll down, knees into chest. Give yourself a little cooch. Relax off for a second, and then when you're ready, we are going to turn onto one side. Okay. Right, here we are. We good? Okay, what I'd like us to do here is work on some shoulder strengthening work. Work on some shoulder strengthening. Full stop. Not work on work. Right. Couple of things before we get going. Firstly, we try to push the ear away from the shoulder. Relax the hand, try and get that elbow directly underneath the shoulder. Okay, so we're going to look at variations here. So interestingly enough, I feel less sure of my capability than I've ever done. So it makes me nervous. So then I avoid things, and we shouldn't do that. We need to be dealing with those vulnerabilities always. Okay, so a couple of things. I'm going to start with a bent knee. We're going to progress into a full side plank. So at the moment, we'd call this hover. You're on your elbows. And what I'm looking for is to get that hip off the ground and up towards the ceiling. So it's a push. The butt comes into a little clench at the top of the movement and you bring it back down. So there's two big things going on here. Your glutes are really firing up and your shoulder is stabilizing you, okay? So we go up, up, and down, down, okay? Lots of variations from this. You choose, but what I don't want you to do is take away the real sanity checking going on in the shoulder. Just make sure you're protecting your shoulder as you're lifting and lowering. Okay, now I want you to give me 3 or 4 more of these and we're going to progress, okay? Being on your elbow like that can feel quite a challenge. So from here, I want you to sit up on your side hip. We're going for a fully extended arm and we're going to repeat the pattern. And I want you to have a little think about which is your preference. Okay, so 1 and down. Your range of movement is bigger, so you will feel like you accomplish more with a straight arm. The coming down onto your elbow really challenges what goes onto the shoulder. Up and hold. Now we're going to do tiny pulses to the ceiling, tiny pulses, tiny pulses, tiny pulses. Okay, we're not done. 4, 3, 2, up and hold. Okay, the top arm is going to wrap around, pat on the back, and open up again. So we're wrapping, spinal twist, and opening up. Good, 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 good. Lovely. 1 more. Up and hold. Lift top leg, extend top leg. See how that feels. 4, 3, 2, and release. Other side. I haven't forgotten when I said full plank. We will get that, I promise. It's the same thing. We're coming up onto our side. Feel comfy first. So think, how does the shoulder feel? Where's it working? Is anything niggling? Always relax the hand, thumb up. Okay, knees bent. We're driving upwards. So on the drive upwards, your glutes kick in. So we fire and hold the bum cheeks and then come back down. So again, think about the stabilization that's going on through the knee joint. You choose how you feel. Just as in, adapt if you need to. Think about how you're going to progress. Think about how this feels. If it's too much into the shoulder, what's going on. Okay, up and hold. And then come down. Good, good, good. Up onto your hand. The same thing. We're going to repeat that process. Again, this is creating a lot of stability around the shoulder joint. So same thing. We go up and down and up and down. Targeting the smallest muscle groups around the shoulder. Still engaging the gluteals on the up phase. Up and hold. Tiny, weeny, little presses. Up and hold. Then we wrap. Around the back, open the chest. Around the back, open the chest. Give me 3 more. Well done. Up and hold and stay. Lift the top leg. Lift, lift. Come on, lift that top leg. There you go. Thank you. And release. Well done. That's good work. Okay. So we've worked on our sides a little. What I'd like us now to do, because our shoulders are primed now, so this is all good stuff. What I'd like us to do is address that plank that I've already touched upon. Okay, so back in the old days, I don't think there was a class that I ever taught that didn't involve pikes and planks. Remember those? Remember those days? Yeah. Okay. So let's give this a go. So if you just watch for a second, give yourself a second. Okay, so the setup is always the important bit. Curling the toes, right? Then we lift them. So before we even lift the knees, there will be a moment where your knees are barely They're just coming off the ground. And in that moment, your attention comes on everywhere through the body. We lift, push back. And this bit, the push back is the important bit. Then we ripple forward into a plank. Push back into down dog. Now options, rest here or go straight into pike, ripple through, plank. Push back, pike. Join in when you're ready. Enjoy the lovely stretch out of the calf muscles. The closer your feet are together, and the more we're really targeting and tapping into that deep core as we go forward and back. And when I say ripple, think about pulling in your abdominals as you come from pike. So use your abdominals to power yourself forward into that plank. Lovely. Really good form, by the way, ladies. Yep. Shaking the heads, go, no, I can see you. You look good. Good. So again, whole body. This is whole body training. This is good for your bone health. This is brilliant for your core, but also upper body dominance, lower body dominance. This is all good magic stuff, guys. Hey, I never said stop. Don't look at me like that. 4 more. 4 more for that. And I won't name names. But she might be wearing a blue top. Lovely. Last time. Stay in down dog. So push back and settle there. Enjoy this, please. Think about lengthening through the torso, really pushing your tail backwards. Let's go for a walk, guys. Bend one knee, then the other. If you want to have a little sneaky look under one shoulder, then the other. Lovely little twist here. Lovely. Bring your knees down. Give yourself a moment. Okay, so from here, out of that, let's just have a nice stretch through the lats, okay? So bring your toes together, take your knees nice and wide, reach your arms right the way in front of you, but in like a V, okay, and just stretch out. Now, if you want to put your forehead down on the ground, you can. Use your hands too, just to see if you can just push, so generate motion backwards, so your bum is getting closer to your heels. If you need to adjust your arms, feel free to. So many people use this as a relaxation pose. I like to activate it and put pressure in your hands, really sort of generate a really big static hold. And I can feel that certainly in one of my shoulders. Lovely. Good job. Good job. Well done. Okay. I feel like we're whipping through this today. If you do have a block nearby, see if you can just prop it up. So, okay, team. You good? So, or if I just show you the don't do it version first, which I wouldn't normally do, but the idea is that you get your foot over the block, okay? So kind of go and get your foot over. Okay, the challenge is to push your fingers into the ground, lengthen through your spine, so you're pushing the ground away. So this takes you into really great form through your spine, neck long, shoulders down, and push down into the ground to really feel the weight come into your upper body. Then lift over and back, other leg, lift over and back. Now, what I don't want you to do is start doing some kind of hip hop stuff with your upper body. Try and remain as still and as stabilized as possible as you lift and return and lift and return. So what might happen is that you start bunching into your elbows. You might be collapsing down into your spine. So really focus on keeping that upper body, look how I'm smiling, I'm like that, keeping the upper body nice and tall and strong. Now this will batter your hip flexors, okay? I expect that. This is not easy. The more you're upright, the bigger the challenge. The more you sit back, the easier that is, okay? So I want you to really bring yourself up and forward. And a way of doing that is to take those hands at your sides rather than behind you. Oh, anyone hate this? It's good, isn't it? Yeah, it's like, yeah, come see, come ça. Okay, now 4 times one side only. 4, 3, oh my word, 2, first, other side quick, go, 4, 3, oh, that's interesting. One side hated that, the other side was like, meh. Okay, and release, relax. Oh my word, that was intense, wasn't it? Okay, so what do we do to combat that flexion of the hip? We stay sat in our bottoms. We take our hands behind us. I do feel like we've targeted the shoulders a little bit today. Pat, who's sat in her clothes, sat behind the camera. So is going, yeah, you've done too much there. Okay, so part 1, we're going to lift the bottom off the floor, okay? What we don't want is the head and neck to disappear into your torso. So you need to lift up, squeeze the shoulders, good. So we're going to just both feet push into the ground, lift and lower. Okay, now I'm not great at this. This is one of my least favorite exercises, which is why it's here. We have to bring it in. So my eye gaze starts forward and then it finishes looking at the ceiling. Forward, push up. Now, how can I make that better? I need to think about that space in my shoulders. It's hard, guys. This is not easy stuff because it does feel for many of us like, it's really intense in the shoulders to see that. There are other ways of doing this, so you can just do a little hover, because even just lifting a bit of your body weight, really from a long term, like the big long-term strategy is so we all age greatly, but just even lifting a little bit is the thing that will really help us in life. Without being maudlin about it. Okay, got it? Okay, and release. Sit forward. I want you to actively grab your ankles and pull your torso onto your thighs. So it's a real big pull, and hopefully it'll give you a bit of respite in your back, in your shoulders. Lovely, lovely. Okay, so now that I have blown your shoulders, one more thing. Okay, right, so we don't do this enough. Well, the thing is, you can't smash it all out in one session, you know, and you have to focus on certain areas. So it seems like the shoulders have got it in trouble today. Okay, so let's have a look at the biceps and the triceps mostly, back of the arms. So it's narrow placement with your hands, not wide. So we're narrow, okay? So from there, and I'll turn on my side so you can see me, what I'm looking to do is take my body weight forward, bend the elbows, push up and reset. So I'm dropping my face towards the floor and then pushing upwards. Inhaling to lower. Use that power, that breath out on the up phase. So that bit's really important, is that push to move. Exhale on exertion. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Got it? Now, in a minute, you're going to go, my arms don't really like this. Chris is like, yeah, don't like that. Okay, another option, easier option, come down onto your forearms and push back up. You're kind of engaging your triceps, but not to the first phase. Okay, sit back, give yourself a moment. Got it? Okay, now we flip back over onto our bottoms. We take our hands behind us and we're going to drop down onto our elbows and push back. Try and keep your feet on the mat. And if possible, try and keep your hands narrow and your elbows narrow so they don't flare out like chicken wings. Got it? So again, this is targeting the triceps. Triceps says what it is on the tin. There's 3 parts to the tricep. And what we've done in the last handful of exercises is bring in all of those muscles. Muscles, all those, muscles within the muscle. Yeah, let's call it that. Okay, and release. How do we feel? Are you shattered? They're like, I don't know where my arms have gone. They've just fallen off. Okay. Well done. You do really well. Okay. Grab yourself a drink quickly, and then what I'd like to do is some nice stretching with you, if that's okay. Oh, I crap myself up. I really do. Okay, so first things first, we do need to think about stretching out the things that we've already targeted and focused on. So a nice one to start with, from 4-point kneeling, left hand, bring it through the space on the right. Really focus to try and get the left shoulder as close to the right side as possible. And really think about, oof, that makes me dizzy. Still not one of my favorite moves. Push the ground away with your right and increase that stretch. So you're getting that stretch around the middle of the upper back, so underneath your shoulder blades. Okay, lovely. Switching sides. Right hand slides through. Drop that right shoulder as far as you can onto the left side. Really keep twisting. Eye goes towards the ceiling if you can. You might even feel that in your back as the spine is stretching and twisting, rotating. Well done. We haven't done this one for a while, so we're lying flat. Okay, so right, arms out wide, so through 9 o'clock. We're going to see if we can take the right hand, so the right foot to the left hand, and back again, left foot, right hand. So it's important to kind of lift the leg first before you take it over, because it just gives you, really helps you with that alignment, get you into place. Okay. The byproduct of that is you get a lovely little chest opener, chest and front shoulder. So that's why that one's so nice. Okay, well done. Come up, send your right leg forward. Stay back. So straight line from left knee, left hip, left shoulder. So it's almost like you're pushing back. Okay, squeeze on that left bum cheek. Okay, Left arm to ceiling, and we're leaning over to the right side. Now, what I'd like you to do, instead of pushing your hip out to the left side, I want you to try and keep the hips in the middle. What you'll get is a stronger stretch into the obliques, okay? Okay, well done. Then we come forward. So I want you to really shift your weight onto that right knee and thigh. Lovely. If you want to, you can curl your toes on the left foot under your heel, fingers onto the ground, and straighten off that back knee. If you want to, you can bring both hands up onto your front right knee and lift. The final part of this is a rotate. So take your eye gaze onto your right side, left elbow to the outside of the right knee. We're up now. So bring your hands to the floor. See if we can straighten off that front knee. Now you can take your hands to your front shin, or in fact leave your hands on the floor. It's up to you. We're straightening off both of those knees. Okay, step forward a little bit. So there's about a meter between front and back leg. Straighten off the back. So we've got a long, flat, straight back. Okay, back heel turns in. Left hip moves towards the sky. Right hand down towards right ankle. Open up. Left arm towards the sky. Well done. Break the pose. Turn 15, what are we doing? 90 degrees. Okay. So the feet are wide, toes are pointing forwards, hands are forward, eye gaze dropped and through your legs. Okay, so we're going to repeat on the other side. So start with a narrower base of support. Let's see if we can get that lovely straight leg. So if you want to, fingers on the floor, feet all pointing in the same direction. If you want to put your hands onto your shin, that's fine. Work on your balance, lengthen your spine. Same rules, fingers down on the mat, drop your back heel inwards, just turn in your right heel, and then your right hip opens. So we're just going lovely open, chest comes forward, and again, hand towards the ceiling. Oh, it's lovely, my back goes pop, 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 pop. Lovely. Come out of that, bit of a step back now. So back leg is straight, pop both hands on the front left knee, push the ground away, lift the chest, knee comes down, come right the way forward, get an additional stretch through the hip flexors, come back, squeeze that back bum cheek, so weight's back, right hand comes up and leans over, but rather than pushing out your hip, try and hold your space there, and the stretch goes quite internal. Well done. And then release. Okay, so this is the change. We're going to curl that back toe under and we're going to rise to a stand. Okay. Feet in neutral. Feet forward, shoulders back, shoulders down, neck long. Just stand in your power. Okay, so from here, I want you to think about just really pushing your weight down into your feet, down into the earth below, like you're sitting, sinking in mud. Okay. Your hands, we breathe in and lift your hands upwards. Turn your palms down as you breathe out. Press your palms downwards. Inhaling. Exhaling. Spreading your toes. Notice equal and balanced weight in your right and your left. Notice equal and balanced weight. Heel to the ball of the foot. This is grounding. This is sending your energy downwards so we don't spiral and escalate in scenarios. We stand like a strong, strong Cornish wall. Strong. And feel the power of your body with the breath in. Know your own strength. Now, this time as your hands settle downwards, just stand there for a moment, stillness. Arms out wide, let them flow upwards to 3 and 9 o'clock. And then up into a high V with drop shoulders, long neck. Bring the palms of your hands together. Bring your hands downwards into your heart space. Stay there for a moment. Take a long breath in. Arms come up wide into a big circle. Come together at the top of the move. Bring your hands back into your heart space. Well done, team. Well done.